Welcome, and thanks for being here. We have a wonderful day planned for you. It is Thursday, October 22nd, the year 2020. Now, you are probably here right now because you are interested, you are curious, you are excited, you are amped, you are stoked, you are fired up to meet our coolest, biggest coworker, Delilah, a 46-foot long North Atlantic right whale. Now we will meet Delilah. She's right over here in a moment, but not just yet. Just want to set the table for you guys, talk about why we're doing this event, give you guys a little bit more background information about North Atlantic right whales, and then just go over some guidelines for fun. Essentially, how we want you guys to interact with us today. So if that sounds good to you guys, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, and we'll go ahead and get started. Now, before I get into all the juicy details, I just want to let you know there are 4 people here today making this possible. Let's start with Sabrina. She's behind the camera. We have Monica over here. She's on vibe control, making sure no shootings or cars interrupt our presentation. And then on the inside of our office here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, we have Michelle on the keyboard, making sure she is interacting with you guys if any questions come up. My name is Stephen McCluskey. I'm the Education Coordinator here at the Whale and Dolphin Conservation and your MC this afternoon. All right, so first things first, why are we doing this virtual tour? Well, Delilah is a very social whale. However, she hasn't been as social as she has wanted to be this year because of the pandemic. However, last year, starting in May, Delilah had gone out to 21 different events. On the weekends, Delilah typically goes out to fairs and festivals. One we went to in Florida was the North Atlantic Right Whale Festival. And during the week, Delilah goes out to schools and visits students of different grades. All in all, last year, Delilah got to take 3,300 different individuals on a tour, both on the outside of Delilah, and we're going to go on a tour as well on the inside. So 3,300 people last year got to do this. Unfortunately, no one has been able to do that this year. This is Delilah's first event, but you guys are about to, so since we can't bring Delilah out to your guys' community, we figured we would bring Delilah to you all. A little bit more about North Atlantic right whales and Delilah. Delilah was a North Atlantic right whale who unfortunately passed away in the early 90s, and our Delilah is an exact replica of that North Atlantic right whale that once existed. Currently, North Atlantic right whales, they're in critically endangered species. In the wild, the estimated total population is 400 individuals. So they need some help. But what's really cool about North Atlantic right whales, it's a whale that we do a lot of work with here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, like for our organization, because they're our neighbors 3/4 of the year. They live off the waters of New England, and mostly the spring, the summer, and the fall. This is where they eat, get all fat and sassy, as well as potentially mate. Now, when it gets a little bit too cold for them, they'll hike all the way down off the coast of South Carolina, Georgia, and North Florida. If a female North Atlantic right whale is pregnant, this is where she'll give birth. And to our knowledge, it's the only calving grounds of North Atlantic right whales. So that's just a little bit of background information about North Atlantic right whales. Now, the moment is almost here. We are about to go meet Delilah, talk about some of her cool features. But first, guidelines for fun. At different moments today, I'm going to be asking you guys questions. You might think that I'm just asking myself questions because I'm just here by myself. No, I'm asking you guys questions. I want you guys to interact with us as I'm talking about things as well. If you guys have a question, please feel free to type that into our Facebook log. Like I said, Michelle is monitoring that, Sabrina is monitoring that, so we got you guys covered. So, last thing, we want to know where you guys are viewing from. Let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know if you have a favorite whale, maybe the reason why, and let us know where you're going to be for Halloween. All right? So that will get you guys comfortable, maybe step outside your comfort zone, start interacting on our Facebook Live. And I think without further ado, it's time to meet Delilah.
Woo!
Sound good? Brad, come on over this way. What?
Wow!
Oh, wow. Isn't this cray-cray? How big she is.
Hey, Steven.
Yeah.
We have people watching from Georgia, from Halifax.
Woo. I'm from Georgia. I grew up just outside of Atlanta. That's awesome. Halifax, what up? Now check it out. So a lot of times you only see whales in the water. This is a very unique opportunity. We're getting to see a whale outside the water and look at its sheer mass, its sheer length. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, I'm 6'4". I don't know exactly what my wingspan is, but as you can see, from the front of her mouth, I'm not even touching her eye, and she goes on and on. So this is a massive, massive animal to be standing next to. Also, just for further perspective, in your mind, think about the size of a school bus, the length of a school bus. Maybe next time you see a school bus, this will come back to you. A school bus is typically 35 feet long. Delilah is 46 feet long, so just 11 feet longer than a school bus. It's just another way to think about this. Just the sheer size, it's pretty incredible. Now before we go inside Delilah, I just want to point out some really cool features of Delilah on the outside. So I promise we're going to do an outside tour first, and then I promise you we'll go on the inside, check some of our cool features out. But the first thing I want to draw your attention to is these yellow patches. Now at first, you might be thinking, did they just make a mistake and that's just like an error? No, these were actually put here intentionally. And if you like vocab terms, thumbs up right now because I'm about to drop one on you. These yellow patches are called callosities. Now say that one more time from the diaphragm.
Callosities.
Now that might be a tough word to pronounce because it was for myself. I pronounced it callosities, but through the resilience of my coworkers, callosities, it's now in my head. But what's really cool about these callosities, they're essentially calluses that whales get, especially North Atlantic right whales. And scientists who study these whales will actually use the pattern where they're located on the whales to tell one individual apart from the other individual. So think of it kind of like your fingerprint. Only you have the pattern of your fingerprint and it's unique. Only you possess that. So callosities is a way that scientists and biologists distinguish one right whale from another. And this better helps understand their behavior, their migration, what they're up to. So being able to recognize patterns is a skill that a lot of scientists use. And then just to let you know, for humpbacks, they look at the patterns on the humpback's fluke, or the whale's tail. So callosities, pretty cool feature. All North Atlantic right whales have them, and each whale has a unique pattern of callosities. Now let's go check out the eyeball. All right, obviously this eyeball is pretty big, but what I really want you guys to focus in on, obviously there's an other side of the whale. So what do we notice? Is the eye on the side of the whale, or is it on the front of the whale? Well, since I'm standing right next to it, it's pretty obvious to me that whales have eyes on the side of their head. So if there's no one around, or even if there's people around and you feel comfortable and you want to step outside your comfort zone into your growth zone, go ahead, put your hands like this, and put them up to your face. So all you can really see is out of the left and right sides. And that's kind of how whales see. So it might be difficult. I might be walking towards a tree here. I'm gonna stop right there. But I did want to point this out. I was having a discussion with our executive director, Regina, about eyes and eye placement. So think about it this way. For terrestrial animals, think about humans, lions, owls, and bears. where do they have their eyes at? Are they on the side of their head, or are they on the front of their head? If you guessed front of the head, you are correct. And when we look at those animals and determine if they are a top predator or a prey, most likely you will come to the conclusion that humans, lions, bears, and owls all rest on top of the food chain and potentially considered apex predators. So for land-based animals, having eyes on the front of your head means you're running and you're hunting, you're seeking out prey. For land-based prey animals, or animals that are a little bit further down on the food chain, your eyes are probably going to be on the side of your head looking out for those predators trying to get you. So the saying goes, eyes on the side, you run and hide. But for marine animals, eye placement might not necessarily be a top adaptation. It might not matter as much in the ocean. What really matters for whales and their highest valued sense is their ability to communicate via sound. So whales produce low frequency noises, and they can travel tens of thousands of miles, and that's how they communicate. Like I said earlier, their range is all the way from the top coast of Maine all the way down to Florida. So whales can communicate through the ocean via sound. But just wanted to point that out, let you guys know about that. Eye placement, recognize that kind of as you look at other animals in the future. Now right here, we have the pectoral fin, or as I like to call it, they're flippity floppities. What I really want to tell you about here is imagine yourself swimming like this, like you're in the water, it's a nice summer day, all is well. If you're thinking about yourself, what would be your pectoral fins? What helps you move and navigate through the water? It's probably your arms and your hands. And so what's really cool about their pectoral fins, or flippity floppities, is that they, in their fins, or their pectoral fins, has all the same bones that we have in our hands except the middle finger. So all the other bones that are present in our hands are also present in a whale's pectoral fin. Follow me. All right, so we have made our long journey down to the whale's tail. Now what I want to mention here, which is really cool, I didn't know this until a little while ago, but for whales, their tails, I'm going to ask you guys this, do they move up and down, or do they move side to side? So think about that for a second. Does a whale's tail move up and down through the water, or side to side?
I don't know, Stephen. Tell me.
Hey, I will tell you. Thanks for asking, Sabrina. A whale's tail moves up and down, okay? So one way to distinguish, let's say, marine mammals like whales is their tails are going to move up and down in the water, and fish like sharks and whale sharks, their tails are going to move side to side. So just something to point out, something to notice, something to distinguish species from one another. All right, so we're going to take you on this side just to show you the other side of shaking. Maybe we'll have to duck under some trees. But just to kind of show you guys the setup, our office, we're on a busy street. Monica's on vibe control over there. All right, so we'll duck under this. Like I said, more callosities over here, the second eyeball. And we're making our way back to the front. So like I said, if you guys have questions, if you enjoyed the outside tour, please let us know. Like I said, Michelle is online, ready, and Sabrina's ready to answer those questions for you. So I think at this point, are you guys ready to go inside the whale, check out some whale anatomy?
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Let's do it. All right, so to give you guys like the full perspective, I'm gonna take the phone from Sabrina here so you guys can check out the entire whale and I'm not blocking your view. All right, so just to let you guys know. Right. All right, so we're about to go into the whale, and what you need to know is that there's no shoes allowed. So if you're wearing shoes right now, go ahead and kick them off, let your hoofs breathe. And yeah, let's head on in.
Watch your step.
All right. Now we're coming in right behind the pectoral fin, so we're entering the whale on its side here, and we're gonna head towards its tail. And I'm gonna sit down on its tail and give you the full view. All right. So we are making ourselves, my voice may sound different, but we are inside the whale right now. I'm all the way back at the tail. I could not move back any further. And I'm just gonna say, from what you guys can see right now, let me know, what do you guys notice? What do you wonder? And does anything you're seeing, does it remind you of anything? Maybe something that you have as well as a human? Let us know. And then we'll start talking about a couple of these things in detail a little bit more. But just want to give you guys the scope real quick. And then I'm going to start moving myself down towards the mouth of the whale, towards the front. All right? All right, so here we go. And just so you know, I am fully standing up in the whale right now. So I'm not crouched down or anything like that. All right. So one thing I want to point out is that whales are mammals. Just like us, they produce milk and they have a backbone. So do we see this backbone that lines its entire body? This backbone helps move the whale's tail, provides some stability there. Now you'll notice these two pink circles, or circle-like things. Can anyone guess what those are? All right, those are lungs. Whales have lungs. They need to breathe. They don't have gills. And the way that a whale breathes is through its nostrils or its blowholes, which are these two little slits right here. Now it makes sense that a whale will have its nostrils on top of its body, because as it surfaces, the first thing that comes out of the water is its nostrils. It allows them to breathe. For North Atlantic right whales and humpbacks, they can hold their breath for about 30-ish minutes, but other whales can hold their breaths for hours and hours. So, pretty cool. Those are the whale's lungs. And if you notice these things on the side, on each side, we also have these. Can anyone tell me what these guys are? These long things right here. If you guessed they're ribs, you are correct. Ribs are a strong structure that helps protect vital organs such as the lungs and kidneys and things like that. So whales also have ribs. All right? Now, what's really cool about North Atlantic right whales is that they are a baleen whale. Thumbs up if you've ever heard of the word baleen, or tell me if you know any other types of whales that have baleen. All right? Now I'm gonna kind of adjust myself here so you can get the full scope. So North Atlantic right whales have baleen that line the front of their mouth like so. Now baleen, and this is actual baleen down here, is a strong structure that is made up of a protein called keratin. Now keratin is the same protein that makes up a rhinoceros's horn, and it's the same protein that makes up our fingernails and our toenails. So just to show you guys, pretty strong, pretty long, and it's kind of got hairs right here. And this is a really important adaptation for these whales because, well, my definition of adaptations is something that allows a whale to eat, not be eaten, and to ultimately reproduce. So baleen allows North Atlantic right whales to eat food. And what they'll do is they'll open up their mouth, they'll take in a bunch of water, and hopefully food that's in that water. They're looking for plankton like copepods. If you know SpongeBob SquarePants at all, thumbs up. He is a copepod, and that's what these whales eat. So they'll open up their mouth, take in water, and hopefully there's plankton and copepods in there. And then they'll push the water out through the baleen, and the water permeates out, but anything that's big enough, like the size of a grain of rice, will actually get stuck in the baleen. And the whale will end up eating that and eventually digesting it. So think of baleen kind of like a pasta strainer, and that's why we have this in here. When you put pasta in here with water, all of the water filters out and all the yummy tummy stuff stays in. All right, so once again, baleen, crucial for these whales to eat, and it's a very efficient system. They need to eat about, I think it's about 2,000 pounds of plankton each day. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about as we look at the whale from this perspective is what happens after a whale digests its food. Well, a whale, just like us, it's got to go to the bathroom, but whales can't poop under pressure. Thumbs up if you can relate to that. Now, what they do is they'll actually have to come to the surface where the water pressure is not so much, and at the surface of the water or just below the surface of the water, they'll take a poop. Now, what's really important about their poop is that there's vital nutrients that phytoplankton need to carry out an essential chemical reaction. That chemical reaction is known as photosynthesis. So in a whale's poop, you can find nitrates and phosphates and things like that. The phytoplankton takes that in, and it allows them and gives them the energy they need to carry out photosynthesis. And if there's one thing you need to know about photosynthesis, is that it produces what? It produces oxygen, and we need oxygen to live, to survive. And I believe the estimated total is every other breath you take is a result of phytoplankton going through photosynthesis, producing oxygen. So we can kind of connect the dots and understand how whales digesting food, making sure they have enough food, leads to them eventually excreting their waste. And then that waste, or certain things in that waste, are taken up by phytoplankton. Phytoplankton go through photosynthesis, and they produce oxygen. So we can kind of see that connection and understand a little bit more why whales are really important. So if you have any other questions about Delilah or the inside, anything else that's going on, these shadows that you see are from the trees outside, but it's pretty cool. I'm glad we got the opportunity to take you on this tour for you guys to learn a little bit more about whales. We hope you think they're cool. We hope you share this information with your family, with your friends next time you have a conversation about whales. All right, so one last look, and we'll say goodbye to the inside of Delilah, and we'll scoot on back outside. All right. And we're back out. All right. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. I had a really great time showing you around Delilah. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if you're interested in learning more about Delilah or the work we do, whales.org, check out our website. Feel free to interact with us on Facebook, social media. Other than that, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.